Hello everyone, welcome back to this tutorial series of reactive programming. Today I will talk about different retry APIs available in Reactor. So before starting this video, if you haven't checked our playlist on reactive programming using Spring Webflux, you can check it using the I button or using the link in the description. And if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So let's start with this video. So the first question is, when and why do we need retry? Let's assume that you have some service A which calls a REST API of service B, and due to some network glitch you got a error response. In that case, instead of returning a simple error response, sometimes we want to retry so that if there is some minor network glitch we can get a successful response in the next retry. So today in this video we will see what are the different retry APIs available in Reactor, and we will also see what are the different ways, or you can say an efficient way, to implement this retry logic in case of an error scenario. So let's try to see that using some code. So for that I'll go to my IntelliJ editor. Here I'll try to show you the different retry APIs available in Reactor using some test methods. So the first test I'll write, I will call it fixed number of retry. Here I will create a mono of error. Okay, why mono of error? Because retry only executes for an error signal. So in the real RESTful API calls also you will get a mono of error, right? In that case we want to retry. So for that we have different retry methods available. So if you see, we have this retry which takes no parameter, then we have this method which takes the number of retries we want to execute, and then we have other different functions we'll talk about later in this video. So first I'll use this one, because the retry method with no parameter internally sends this value. That means it will retry for this many times, which is not feasible. So I'll pass my own parameter. So let's say for now I'll pass 3. So it will retry for 3 times. Okay, and then I'll simply subscribe this. Okay, so let's run this example to see the output. So it internally retries. So to see what is happening behind this, we can add a logger here so that we can see the retry logs as well. So I'll rerun this example. So now if you see the output here, the on subscribe has happened and then request, and then we got a on error signal, right, which we got at 1502. Okay, and then after printing the stack trace, it again retry this. So if you see, the on subscribe, request and on error has happened again, and similarly if you see, it has happened for 3 more times. So here we can see that it has tried for 3 times, and we don't have much delay in between multiple retries. Okay, so it immediately retries and tries to get a success response, but after 3 retries it gives a stack trace which basically says there is some error. Okay, so this retry method basically retries for the number of times we have configured here, and this retry method immediately runs one after another. So sometimes we want to add some delay between retries so that the service which is giving us error response can get stable. So we can add some delay in between different retries. So for that we have some different method. So I'll copy this. I'll change the name of this method. I will call it retry with fixed delay, and instead of using retry, now I'll use retry when. So we have one more function which says retry when, and it takes a type retry. Okay, so here you simply use this retry dot fixed delay. So this is basically a function which takes the number of retries you want to do and duration. So this duration would be your fixed delay between the retries. So now I'll say let's retry after 2 seconds. Rerun this example to see what is happening. So now if you see the output, we don't see any retry logs, right? Because this retry when method is using its own scheduler to run the retry. And as the main thread reaches the end of the function got completed, and this does not get enough time to retry. So for that, I'll add a thread.sleep. Okay. And here I'll pass around say 10 seconds. And let's rerun this example and let's see the output. So this time if you see, we are getting the retry logs. Okay, so if you see here, for the very first time everything happens on the main thread, and if you see, after getting this error, the retry starts on a parallel thread. That means this retry when has its own scheduler. So in my previous video, I have talked about schedulers in much detail. So if you don't know about schedulers in Reactor, you can watch my previous video. I have created a detailed video about schedulers in reactive programming. You can watch it using the I button or from the link in the description. Okay. So for now, I'll move ahead and we'll see how many times it retried. So if you see here, we got the first on error signal at 15th second, and then after 2 seconds, if you see, we have our first retry. And similarly, if we move forward at 19, it does the second retry, and then similarly at 21 it does the third retry. And after that it simply sends a cancel signal, that because all the retry has exhausted, and here you will get another error which says retry exhausted 3 by 3. That means all the 3 retries has been exhausted. So here we have seen that in between different retries we have a fixed delay of 2 seconds, so that we have a better chance to get a success response from the service we are calling. So next we will see one more variation of retry when. So for that I'll simply copy this method. Okay, I will call it retry with minimum backoff. Okay, so what do I mean by minimum backoff? Minimum backoff is a minimum time duration between retries. So let's say if you have configured your minimum backoff as 2 seconds, then that means your minimum time difference between two retries will be 2, and maximum it can be anything. It depends upon some jitter factor, which I'll show you in few minutes. So for that we have this function called backoff, retry.backoff, and it takes two parameters. The first one is the number of retries you want to do, and the second one is the minimum backoff, which is of type duration. So let's say for our example we will keep it 2. So the minimum time duration between two retries would be 2, and max it can go to anything. So for that it depends on something called jitter factor. So if you check out this method, so here you can see that this takes these two parameters, and if you see here they have used a jitter factor of 0.5d. That means the time duration between your retries will keep on increasing. Okay, so let's see this by running this example. So let me run this example for you. So here we have configured 3 retries with minimum of 2 seconds delay. Okay, so yeah, so if you see the output, the first on error we got at 53, and after around 3 seconds it executes the first retry, which is greater than the minimum time, and then again at 59, which is also around 3 seconds. And if you see, we did not get the third retry because this sleep thread.sleep has exhausted. So I'll increase this, I'll put 20 seconds of delay, and let's rerun this example. So minimum backoff is 2, but due to the jitter factor it keeps on increasing it. That's the reason it does not complete it in 10 seconds. So let's say if it is able to execute all the retries. So yeah, I can see that it has got retry exhausted. That means it is able to execute all the retries. So let's see the output. So here if you see, we got the on error at 9th second, and then after around 3 seconds it does the first retry, and then at 18, okay, like almost 6 seconds, and then after 18 at 25 it does the third retry, that means which is around 7 seconds. So here in this example, if you notice, we have control over this minimum backoff time. That means we know the minimum time it will take to retry, but we don't have the control over the maximum time, right? Because as we have seen here that the first retry happens in around 3 seconds, then it took around 6 seconds, and then 7 seconds. So it keeps on increasing based on the jitter factor, right? So to overcome that, we have one more variation of retry. So I'll show you with another example. So I'll copy that, I'll call it retry with exponential backoff. So here in this example, we will see how we can increase our exponential backoff time, which is the time duration between two retries. So for that, instead of using retry when, I'll use another function we have here. So here, instead of using retry when, I'll use retry exponential backoff. So we have this method retry exponential backoff. So here you can pass different parameters. So I'll show you. So it takes this number of times you want to retry. So for this, I'll give 3, and then it takes the first duration, the first retry you want to do. So I'll say that I want my first retry to be executed after 1 second, and then it takes the maximum duration parameter, which is basically the time duration between two retries. So here I'll pass a duration of, let's say, 4 seconds. So here I don't want the time duration to exceed 4 seconds between two retries. Okay, then it has this jitter boolean where I can pass true. So if you pass your jitter value as true, then this function will put some randomness in between retries, which will lie between 1 to 4 seconds. So let's run this example to observe what is happening. So here we got some error. So it is saying no class def found for reactor retry. So okay, so I guess we need to go to POM XML. Yeah, so I have commented this out. So for this method to use, you need to add this dependency, reactor extra. Okay, and then only you will be able to use retry exponential backoff, because it is a part of reactor extra library. Okay, so let me rerun this example. So now it is running. So here in the logs you can see that we got our on error signal, and after that it retries for the first time. So if you see here, this has more detailed uh, logs. So this is basically coming from reactor extra. So if you see, it also prints a back off. So the max we have set is 4 seconds, and out of that, after 1080 millisecond, it retries this for the first time. Okay, and after this, if you see the iteration 2, which is after 2 seconds. Okay, and then similarly you will see iteration 3, right, which is also around 3 seconds. And if you scroll down, you will see iteration 4, which is basically the exhausted thing which is getting printed. That means the number of retries has exhausted. So yeah, this is how you can configure your exponential backoff. One more thing you can see is if we pass this as false. So let's rerun this example. So here if you see, in case of jitter as false, if you see the backoff, it executes just after 1 second, and then executes just after 2 seconds. It is not adding any randomness in between different retries. So if you see, the last one happened at exactly at 4 seconds. So that means it does not have any jitter factor, which means it does not have any randomness in calculating the next retry execution time. Okay, so yeah, that's all about different retry APIs available in Reactor. So I hope now you have a clear understanding on how retry works in Reactor and how you can configure and play around retries depending upon your need. So that's it about this video. So if you like this video, please hit the like button and also share this video with your friends. And if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Today I will talk about different retry